Hello, I'm Brian and I'm the Theoretical Gamer. The year was 1979. The place was Racine, Wisconsin. Two young men, about high school age I'd say, named Hank Riley and Jim Ireland, got together and realized that although they loved Dungeons & Dragons, it wasn't quite good enough. They would create a game of their own, a new game, an exciting game, the best game. And so they did. They sat down and they worked it out. And they said, D&D is good, but it lacks true scientific realism. So they came up with a game of true scientific realism that mixed sci-fi and fantasy in a world that no one had ever seen before. They had created the best game. They created Encounter Critical, a science fiction fantasy role-play game. Now, it naturally has, it's an oddball game. That's all I'm going to say. It has all the standard races like dwarf, elf. There's also things that, like Frankenstein as a race, hobbling, and of course, they borrowed from the pop culture of the time, things that they thought was cool, and they wanted to create versions of them in their game. Of course, it's cleverly disguised, like Vulkin, Vulcan, Wooky, Wookie, and of course the Klingon, Klengon, and of course, my favorite, the planetary ape. Now, there are classes. There is of course, the warrior, the warlock, the criminal, the pioneer, the doxy. Let's see, the Psy Witch. Yeah, the doxy. That's basically if you are a harlots, concubines, pleasure robo-droids, and go-go dancers. The thing is, as brilliant and as genius as these two young men were, women were things that they had kind of seen in TV and magazines and movies, and that was pretty much it. So I think there was a bit of sexism there. The basic stats you roll the standard 3d6 to get 3 to 18, and you place them in your list of stats. And of course, again, it kind of shows their prejudices. Intellect is supreme. It gives you the best bonuses and the best stuff, and it kind of shows what they thought is their cleverness. As robot nature is a basic stat, how mechanical you are and how absorbed into the society machine. Characters needn't be robo-droid to have a robotic nature. Most people at the supermarket have one. You use it to do things like standing guard, getting along with computers, and to obey unpleasant orders. Also, like I said, you go up in levels like usual. You start off with 0 experience points. Like if you're a warrior, you hit second level at 469 experience points. You hit third at 1,173 experience points, etc. They explain this. Note that the XP to qualify is its pure realistic value, not, as in other games we could mention, rounded neatly to look nicer on the page. This is an example of applying the laws of science fiction to the fun of fantasy for a superior experience for all. Enjoy it. There's magic spells. There's not too many of them, because unlike, say, D&D or a lot of other games, your warlock is expected to create his own spells. So, and also there's no spell level. It says, here are some correctly balanced spells to get you started. Encounter Critical does not assign artificial levels to spells, preferring a more science fiction approach where a spell is a spell. See? True scientific realism. Also, the game is a hoax. I wish it was real. It should be real. Something this beautiful and lame has to be real, but it is not. It was created by a game designer and writer named S. John Ross about a decade ago in 2004. He created it, filled it with horribly bad art of that looks like someone scribbled it in high school, and leaked it onto the internet. And for about a year, he maintained the hoax, saying that he had found it at a convention or something. And people believed the hoax. And they were like, oh man, this is great. And there were a lot of old grognards out there who were like, you know, I think I remember this game. I think I played it at a con once. And the funny thing is, from what I've heard, it's playable. It's got its flaws, but it's playable. And it's like, as you can see, by reading it, S. John Ross came up with this image in his head of these two like uber nerdy 1979 guys like who printed this game on their school mimeograph machine and really just had more enthusiasm than common sense. And he wrote a game in character. He wrote this game the way these guys would write it. And one of my favorite parts is the map. It's, if you can't see it, it looks very much like it was like hand-drawn and then fed into a typewriter to type the titles of the stuff. Fantastic. But, and one thing is, it's like, and of course, because these are 1979 Uber nerds who, like one of the intellect skills that you get, if your intellect is high enough, is experience bonus. Every time you get experience, you roll experience bonus skill, and if you succeed, your experience is doubled, because smart people are better. And one other aspect is strength. Like, things like logic and scholarship and saving throw and psi resist are under other stats. Like, obviously, like logic and, let me see. Like, logic and scholarship are under intellect. However, they're also under strength, but inversely. You see, if you have a very high strength, you get penalties to your logic and scholarship. Of course, if you have a very high intellect, you don't get penalties to anything. You can tell these two guys got shoved into lockers a lot in high school. You know, their prejudices show through. There is a bit of inspiration there. Like, you do not level up when you hit your weirdly odd number. Yeah, yes, because to these guys, having some strangely odd number is more realistic than a nice round number. But when you hit that number, you don't level up. You qualify to level up. And this is actually an interesting aspect of it that actually might be fun. Like, a warrior, in order to level up, must defeat a monster of equal or higher power using a new type of weapon. A warlock has to invent a new spell. Like a criminal, member of the criminal class, has to commit a new type of crime. A doxy must expand her favor score by this usually means providing services to a new ruler, chieftain, bureaucrat, policeman, or other celebrated or powerful person, by seduction if need be. Stuff like that. It's bizarre and weird, and I have heard that there are people who've played this game and have fun. A lot of fun. And the art is entertainingly horrible. because it's designed to be, like these guys scribbled it down on, with their with pencil, and that was what they had. It's this is gaming imbued with the character of an era before, and this is in the back where he's kind of explaining out of character about the hoax. Like, this is gaming imbued with the character of an era before, just before, there were serious RPGs and comedy RPGs. When the what the hell nature of the young hobby left that kind of distinction unnecessary. I did my best not to recreate an era of gaming exactly, but rather to evoke it in a playful way. It says, and games are a little bit like rock music in that no matter where you take them, there needs to be at least a grain of stupidity there, a thread leading back home. I think that is the same is true of anything done for pleasure, really. Encounter Critical. Now, you can go to S. John Ross's website, The Blue Room, and download it for free. There used to be a CD-ROM version called the Encounter Critical, the Phasic Cyborg Edition. That's C-Y-A-B-O-R-G, Cyborg Edition. That had all sorts of extras. It had this enhanced PDF where you could click things and it would play MP3s of S. John Ross, and a friend of his or whatever, giving design notes. And that one is fantastic, and I used to have it, and it went away. And now it's not available anymore. I think he's thinking of trying to make it available, but the current system does not allow him to. The people that he used to go through Lulu.com, and they do not do enhanced CDs. So that sucks. But you can still download the basic rule book for free, and you can, I think, go to Lulu and get a printout of it. But it's a hell of a lot of fun. It's if you like watching old bad Mystery Science Theater movies because these bad movies were bad, but they had such enthusiasm, and they genuinely did have their moments. They did have their little moments of brilliance that made it all worthwhile. And that's what Encounter Critical is. Not real. It was not created on a mimeograph machine in 1979, but it should have been. It's check it out. Look through it, read it, enjoy it, possibly even play it. Have a good day.